The first day. We're honored to be here and to have Mayor Brenner, Governor Carney, represented legislators for us. I just want to say thank you, everyone, to coming out. With that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Brenner.
To Paul Hester and all for state. That's Paul right over here, the owner of the brewery. So thanks for having us out here. If you haven't been here before, the food is tremendous. Die for. I'd like to welcome Senator Walsh and also Representative Bush for and in this for getting here on time, even though she was 25 minutes late. If we had started on time, she would have been late. Yeah, that's. Before the governor signs this very important bill into law, I was asked to touch on a couple of things that have helped Delaware's future economic development. This bill speaks out to the challenge of competing with other states to bring companies to Delaware. For the last 12 years, Middletown's been a direct part of that, and that competition where we've been up against other states for businesses and sometimes even other municipalities within the state of Delaware. You know, when you think about that, we got Amazon, we got Datweiler, and most recently we got the Wuxi Stay pharmaceutical company here to Middletown. It's just unbelievable that we were able to get these. But it all comes down to partnerships that we've developed. In the early discussions with these companies, it's clear that they're impressed with all the infrastructure that we as a town have in place. And this bill will help us get more infrastructure in place, both here and all around the state. When it comes to development in Middletown, we never say no. We say yes to everything, then we figure out how the hell we're going to do it. Senate Bill 127 will give us even more ammunition to fight for the next company that comes here and create more great jobs for Delaware. Some might knock Delaware for being small, but in many cases, that makes us strong. And strong in like if we call the governor, chances are he will answer and he will return your call. In addition to all of our legislators, we view Delaware and everything that goes on here as a partnership. No matter who it is we're working with, what side of the aisle, whatever, we're all in this together and it is truly a partnership. And with that, I'm so proud to introduce our governor, my favorite governor, and my friend, John Carney.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I am your favorite governor because I'm your only governor at the moment.
That's true, yeah.
But that's actually a good place to start because what this bill is about fundamentally, as the mayor said, it's fundamentally about partnerships. And I want to start off on a personal note and thank the mayor for his long years of service here as the mayor of the town of Middletown. And for everything he's done for the town and the region and frankly for the state of Delaware. The can-do attitude that he referred to goes way back to his early days as mayor. When I first met him, probably 30 years ago, maybe a little bit before, and the mayor may or not remember or not that we met because at the time I was working for Newcastle County, and Newcastle County had a contract and arrangement with the town of Middletown to provide wastewater infrastructure services. And so we worked for a long time together trying to sort all that out. And it essentially was one of those situations. Wasn't if we build it, they will come. It was a situation where if we build it, they could stop waiting because they were ready to come. And that's essentially what this bill is about, is producing sites that are ready for development as we continue to compete with states and regions across our country. We compete every single day for the future strength and the jobs that power our economy into that future. And we're competitive mostly because of partnership and our ability to deliver quickly. One of the ways that we do that is through the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, and I want to thank Kurt and his team. I want to thank the board members that are here, Senator Walsh, Senator Pettyjohn, Representative Yerrick is not here, and Representative Bush for their leadership on the partnership. It is that, and it's appropriately named. It was a recommendation that came out from the statewide business community to make us more competitive, to force us to do things that we were doing, but to do it better. The mayor mentioned an announcement that we just had a couple weeks ago with STA Pharmaceuticals, which is going to bring 500 to 1,000 jobs over a long period of time. Their decision to come here was fundamentally because we had the planning that the mayor and his team was willing to do years ago, both on the wastewater and other infrastructure side, as well as the comprehensive planning that was done here for the west side of Middletown. And so the mayor's foresight, his teams working together have enabled us to have sites on a regular basis that we can make available, that Becky and her team and Kurt can make available to prospective companies looking at Delaware. One of my major objectives was to attract a biopharmaceutical manufacturing firm, which is exactly what STA Pharmaceuticals is about. Their customers are mostly U.S. pharmaceutical customers, which makes us this so critically important for this region where that's a major industry. I didn't think we'd make it this quickly. You know, we've made significant, with our legislators, we've made significant investments in this capability at the University of Delaware, and it's paying off in so many ways. So I'm delighted to be here to sign this piece of legislation which puts in place a Site Readiness Fund. We had a statewide seminar, if you will, at the Modern Maturity Center a couple years ago. And we had site selectors who came in, and they basically were saying, you know, we're not really paying much attention to Delaware anymore for lots of different reasons. But they gave two things that we could do to be more competitive. One, most of the factors that the companies make to decide to locate in a particular place is the quality of the workforce. And so we put a lot of energy and effort into all of that, and the investments that we together make in the University of Delaware, Delaware State University, Del Tech, our elementary and secondary education is so critically important. And the other thing is we need to be ready within 6 months to be able to deliver a site to a prospective employer. And I know Rod Ward is going to talk in a minute about that, Project Ready in 6. This bill and the Site Readiness Fund will enable us to meet that objective. And I'm just delighted to finish off the work of the legislators beside me, particularly Senator Walsh and Representative Bush, who are the main sponsors, and everybody here that supported this piece of legislation. This bill and the work of the Prosperity Partnership will enable us to compete and win every day here in Delaware. Thank you all. And again, I mentioned Senator Walsh and his work. He's been a great partner, both in terms of all kinds of different issues that we've worked on together. And he is reasonable, thoughtful, and just a delight to work with, and an important member of our Prosperity Partnership.
Thank you, Governor. And I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty. I'm looking behind me here, and a little thirsty here. But hats off to First State Brewing for hosting this today. Absolutely, give them a hand. Yep, absolutely. It's happy hour on Wednesday and Thursday from 3 to 6, 25% off draft. So that's just a note on that. But I thank my General Assembly colleagues for being here today, Representative Spiegelman, Representative Smith, of course, Representative Bush, who we partnered with on this bill, Senator Pettyjohn, Senator Gay, Senator Hansen, and Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long, of course. I know myself, Representative Bush, Senator Pettyjohn, and Representative Yerrick, who couldn't be here, are part of the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, which we've been talking about this probably for the last 3 years. Site readiness, right, is something it puts us at a severe disadvantage to other states that do this, that we were not doing, because we have to have sites in the construction phase, utility, the infrastructure in place in 6 to 12 months, which is almost impossible to do if you don't fund it. So we found an opportunity this year when the governor's office approached us, myself, Representative Bush, to run this legislation. It was a no-brainer, and it had tremendous bipartisan support. I know I work in the construction industry, so I see it day in and day out with different entities, different businesses that don't come here because we don't have the infrastructure in place, and we're not moving fast enough. And this will help us get there in that time frame, in the 6 to 12 month time frame. I know like I said, I'm on the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, and the tremendous work from, I see Kurt Foreman here today and other board members that are here today, that we've come a long way in just the last 4 years since this partnership was formed, how far we have come when we took the Delaware Economic Development Office and split it into the Division of Small Business and the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, which was not an easy thing 4 years ago. But we did it. We've come a long way. It's reaping rewards as we speak today. And in the future, I expect this piece of legislation to definitely to reap rewards for the state of Delaware. And you know, I was honored to run this, and I'm honored to have the bill signed today by Governor Carney. So with that said, I'll turn the floor over now to my counterpart in the House that sponsored the legislation on the House side, that championed it over there, Representative Bill Bush.
Thank you. And I want to start today, just first of all, by thanking our governor. You know, since he has come into office, his leadership with economic development has been there from the very beginning. And, you know, a lot of this, the creation of the Prosperity Partnership, Transportation Infrastructure Fund, as well as this bill too, were truly out of his leadership of his office and from him, and I truly want to thank him. And, you know, this is just an incredible tool we have in our toolbox right now. There are, you know, so many opportunities that are out there at this particular time. And I think by, first of all, sending the message we have and creating this, the competitive nature that is out there now, we need to have this right now. And I think this is going to lead to a lot of great opportunities in the state of Delaware. And ultimately, what's so great about economic development and bringing these businesses to Delaware is the mere fact that at the end of the day, it turns into jobs, and jobs for Delawareans, and it improves the quality of their life. So I'm very excited with this bill. I want to thank everyone who participated in this, and the leadership of Senator Walsh in the Senate and everyone else, and the governor. Thank you for bringing this forward, and I look forward to seeing it signed today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rod Ward, and ready for some acronyms. I work at CSC. I'm a member of the DBRT, and I'm excited to be here representing DPP. And Delawareans can figure all that out. No, Delaware Business Roundtable, we represent the private sector involved in the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, and so very excited about that. I co-chair DPP with our governor. And again, just echo what they said, really excited about the progress that we keep making and the support that we keep getting. Site readiness, the governor mentioned ready in 6 months is just so important. I always like to turn things a little bit into story so people understand. So if you're sitting at home and your spouse comes up to you in February and says, we're going on a summer vacation, we have 1 week, reserve a house, go online, for rent by owner, find something. and you say, okay, I want to go to the Mid-Atlantic, I want to go to the beach, and you're like, okay, I'll go to New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, or Virginia. And so you look online and you say, wow, this looks really great. You find out that they all have great beaches and they all have great restaurants, and then you do a little more research in the houses. You find out that there's nothing available in Virginia. You find out there's 3 houses, one in Maryland, one in Delaware, one in New Jersey. And you look and they say they all look pretty great, except the one in New Jersey says, you know, that when you look online, it says under construction. You know, coming summer 2022. And you're like, okay, you're making this reservation. Your spouse is like, my mother-in-law's coming too. We better get this right. And so which one don't you choose, right? Of course, you don't choose the one under construction if you have 2 other alternatives, one in Delaware and one in Maryland in this example. And that's clearly what we mean by site readiness. You know, people, businesses, the private sector, when we look for opportunities, we look for those things that are going to work. Under construction, when you have other choices, just doesn't work. And that's what this site readiness is about. That's having this ready to go, because we have so many great things in Delaware to help support that. And then I'd just like to finalize talking about this. This is a partnership. And there's 3 legs to the stool: the executive branch and certainly how the governor's promoted this, but then the legislature as well. You know, Representative Bush, Senator Walsh, Representative Urick, who's not here, but Senator Pennyjohn, who are all representatives on the board on the DPP. It's the private sector and both houses working together that's made this so strong. And really, I'd just like to end on this note: the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Thanks very much. I'll turn it back over to the governor.
All right, so the next part is the most important part, which is signing the piece of legislation. But I do want to underscore the point that Rod just made, and his example was really a good one. And the example basically said, if you don't have a site ready for a prospective employer, you're not going to get those jobs. And going back to the beginning in our reference to Mayor Branner and his leadership, and just his can-do attitude with whatever project. We are competitive for many of these projects, and the mayor mentioned several, because of Middletown and their can-do attitude, both in terms of infrastructure, in terms of comprehensive planning, in terms of the educational opportunities for families and those students. And I can't say enough about the mayor and his partnership. Mayor for life is what I call him. And of course, this Site Readiness Fund is not it's not worth much unless it's funded, and we do have $10 million in the capital budget for this, which will go a long way to helping us with specific sites. It's also important to point out that we have partnerships and relationships with the towns. In fact, we've been working with the town of Seaford on a site out that way with respect to, again, same thing, getting a site ready so that when somebody's looking for that vacation home, in this case, business location, we have something that's not under construction or under consideration, but ready to go in 6 months. And so this is a big step to making Delaware more competitive, to allowing us to meet the imperative of business, to be able to get into a site within 6 months to a year, in fairness. And it's my privilege to finish this great work by the legislature.
Governor, you got very good at the whole multiple pen signing.
Yeah, I know, I only left one letter for the last one.